Hi, this is Gordon back in London, and I'd like to welcome everyone to the Violin Channel Menuhin Competition Festival. It's been a very exciting 2 days, and today is very special because we look back to Beijing in 2012. This is the first time the competition has gone to Asia, and it was brilliantly organized by the Central Conservatory of Music. And we used the top concert halls in Beijing, including the iconic NCPA, the best orchestras, the China Philharmonic, the NCPA Orchestra, the China Youth Orchestra. And altogether, it was a great competition. And I'm incredibly excited because we've got the three top prize winners here on screen. Top left is Kenneth Renshaw and Subin Lee and Kevin Zhu. And I've not seen him actually since 2012. I followed your careers, guys, but it's just very exciting to have you and to talk about it, if you can remember it, because it's a long time ago probably for you guys. So Kev, tell me a little bit first about your feelings of the competition, or whatever you want, basically.
Well, it was definitely a long time ago.
Yeah.
We've all, I mean, we've all changed immensely, and the world has changed immensely since that point. But there are some things that remain with me to this day.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone talks about this sort of incredible friendship and camaraderie of the Menuhin competition and of the atmosphere there. But it's really true. It really is true. And you go there and you feel like you're part of a community. You feel that, you know, everyone is equally as talented and hardworking, and they strive after, you know, similar things. So it's always a nice time to interact with other people in the musical world, and also to have the chance to, you know, communicate what you have. And that's the thing that really still stays with me even after all these years.
Right. And Subin?
Well, for me, it was my very first time to participate in such a renowned competition like Menuhin competition, and especially when I was younger, Menuhin competition was always such a special and very exciting event for every young musician. I made a lot of amazing musician friends when I was there, and well, one of the greatest parts of the competition to me was that I got an opportunity to have an actual conversation with all the jury members, and all the advice they gave me, I still remember everything, even though I was
Really?
11 years old. And I know it's been a long time since I did the competition, but I always tell people that I had one of my most unforgettable and wonderful experiences at the Menuhin competition.
Right. It was great. I mean, the junior final was especially great, I think. And in fact, you inspired me by the level of playing in the competition, that we'd go from 2 rounds to then go to 3 rounds after Beijing, because, you know, when the competition started, the level for the juniors was much less advanced, should we say, and you guys just can play the same repertoire as the seniors. It's kind of amazing. What did you think of the hall that you played in? Do you remember it? It was
The hall? The concert hall.
It was the hall of the Central Conservatory that you played.
I mean, it was really great. Like, the audience was really supportive, and you know, it didn't feel like I'm competing. It felt like I am, you know, performing for audience there, and it was just great. Like, the concert hall was amazing, and yeah.
And Kev, for you, did you like the hall, or do you remember it?
I don't remember too many specifics.
Okay.
But
because for me, it was interesting because I didn't discover this hall about 2 months before the competition. They wanted to do it in the smaller one from the first round. And I said, let's go for a bigger hall, bigger sound. And I was kind of scared. This was big. It was 1,200 people, I think, but it was absolutely packed. And it was an amazing atmosphere, I thought, actually. I don't know how it felt on stage, but in the hall, it was pretty electric. I mean, it felt like a pop concert. It was packed. There were 100 people standing, people were yelling, and it was just a great atmosphere for you guys to perform, I think.
Yeah, I remember after, it was either before or after I'd played, I went to the audience to watch some of the other competitors, and
yeah,
it was I mean, you could feel it on stage when you were playing, and you know, it was a different energy in the room.
mm-hmm.
But when you were sitting in the audience and you were part of that energy, I think it really shined a light into how special it was.
Right. Because I was sitting next to Jean Pascal Totelier and Jan Pascal, and he kept saying each one came out, you know, it can't be as good as this, and all six of you are just great, I think, you know. So let's jump to Kenneth. Hi there. Great to see you. Where are you?
I've been living in New York the last 5 years, but I'm currently a little bit outside of Boston.
Okay.
Yeah, I have just really, really fond memories of the competition. It seems like so long ago, but
Mm-hmm.
kind of echoing what Kevin was saying earlier, it really didn't feel like a competition. It felt just like a festival surrounded by all these incredible um, young violinists who are all so passionate about what they're doing and all learning together. And I just remember being feeling so fortunate to be able to go
Mm-hmm.
and to be a part of it and to be in Beijing.
Right.
It was my first time there. And yeah, the energy of the audience, I've never quite experienced anything like that at any other concerts
Because
that I
the
played
senior
after.
final was in a different hall. It was in the old Beijing concert hall, which has a fantastic acoustic, actually.
Yeah, but I remember for all of the rounds, it was like
Yes.
that, actually. It was I think, the energy of the audience than the
Mm-hmm.
space itself
Mm-hmm.
was really unique, that I'll always remember.
That's great. Let's listen to some of the playing. So we're going to start off with Kevin. This is some of the last movement of the Sibelius Concerto, okay? That was great. I loved your black shirt. It was very snazzy.
Oh man, I remember that black shirt now.
It looked great. Tell me, does it make you feel nervous listening back to it or what? Because it's such a long time ago.
Uh, Not really, more just curious. I haven't played that piece for a while.
Right.
But yeah, it was interesting to remember. I think listening to it, I can kind of remember the feeling on stage. It was definitely a very one of the more high adrenaline performances that I've experienced for sure.
Right. How did you find the orchestra?
I remember they were very supportive, and the conductor was very, very nice. He just followed,
Yeah.
whatever you wanted to do with timing. And they, especially in the tutis, they were really not afraid to really go for it and really play out and feel, especially with that piece like Sibelius, it's such a symphonic kind of orchestral writing. So it was cool to have this huge wave of sound behind you, supporting you.
Mm-hmm. No, it was a great final actually, and I thought the Sibelius was outstanding. You were so young, you were 17 or 18. So I mean, is it the first time you'd actually played it with orchestra?
I had played it a couple times previously with orchestra, but this was definitely one of the special moments for me.
Right. Okay. So, who wants to go up next, guys? Kev, let's have a listen to you. So you're going to be playing, what was it, Sarasate?
I think so.
Okay. Really fun to see you playing that. A big question is, who chose the red shirt? Did you or your parents?
I have no idea. It was probably my parents.
It's a great comment. Red shirt, red tie, you know?
Yeah. It's very fitting for the character.
For the character, yeah. And of course you look so tiny, both you and Subin, because like you're 11, right?
We both, I think we both looked like we were playing the viola or something.
Exactly.
Because the violins were so big and we were so tiny.
Do you remember the final? I mean, do you remember it on stage?
I remember distinctly some parts of it.
Mm-hmm.
I remember being backstage, and I remember walking out. I remember the opening when the piano starts playing, but basically, right as I started playing to basically when I stopped, it was a bit of a blur.
Right.
In my memory, at least.
What is terrific now, listening back, is the pianist actually plays too fast in the beginning. So it makes me kind of nervous, you know, like, what are you going to do? Because at 11, some kids don't adjust. They just sort of carry on what the piano does. But you just sort of establish what tempo you wanted, and they just followed it, basically.
I think with in the rehearsal, I had wanted the pianist to actually start faster.
Mm-hmm.
To sort of bring an energy and a vitality to the piece, and you know, it would, from that energy you could take some from it, and I mean, I knew what I wanted,
Mm-hmm.
you know, in terms of the tempo, in terms of the pacing, so it felt comfortable to, you know, just play it as it is. But the pianist, we had communicated beforehand, and you know, we wanted to do that, so.
Right. What's striking too is the three of you are so strong. You know, you just have no nerves. You just sort of go for it, whether it works or not. And it's just so exciting actually to watch.
Well,
So,
I suppose we have to, especially in that phase of, you know, you're in the final round of the competition. You either leave it out there and.
By the way, guys, did you listen to the other competitors, or do you prefer not to? Kenneth, what did you do?
I listened to the juniors some, and
Right.
I was blown away by who I heard, especially the two of you guys. Like, I just like, how could this sound be coming out of the instrument with people
such
who
a
are
little
so
kid.
small? I know,
Yeah.
it was amazing to watch. The senior competitors, I didn't listen to anybody. I tended to kind of just keep to myself, but it was really inspiring to see these guys.
Subin, would you listen to the others or not? Or you just concentrate in your own?
Actually, I went to, I think, all the competition when I was there, when I was in China. And especially I went to all the senior section competition. And I remember just being amazed by everyone. Yeah.
So let's have a listen a little bit of Subin. You're going to play, what are you going to play? It's Vinyavsky.
I think.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So what did you think?
Um, Actually, I have a funny story about this performance.
Okay.
So right before I played, I had lunch or dinner, and I got sick from the food I had, and I just remember being painful and
Oh,
also nervous. But yeah, once I was on stage, I remember I was just really enjoying playing
mhm.
for audience and people.
You,
Yeah,
you didn't sound nervous, I must say.
yeah.
No, I remember in the hall, it was a terrific sound, actually. The sound you got from the fiddle. I mean, all three of you, actually. But you just remember certain sort of aspects of sound. And of course, in the junior final, it's split into two sections. We had this in a recital in the afternoon, and then the evening you directed the Four Seasons. That must have been very different for you guys, wasn't it?
Um, do you wanna say something, Kevin?
No, I'm just curious because we had this middle school orchestra combined with some Menuhin school kids that came from London, and they combined to rehearse for 2 or 3 days, and I thought they were great. Actually, they all played really well. But I just remember you guys were very, very sort of authoritative and direction in terms of controlling the performance, because there's no conductor, you had to direct it, right? Did you sort of, do you remember anything about that or not?
Um, for me, I mean, it was my first time to lead, you know,
Mhm.
orchestra by myself.
Right.
But what I remember is that when we rehearsed, it was just really fun playing together, and everyone was really just friendly. And yeah, I just remember having so much fun playing with them.
And Kevin, do you remember much about it or not a lot?
Well, I just remembered that they were all bigger than me.
Yeah, they
Like,
were at least 16 or 17 years of each other.
like, I mean, I another thing was I'd never really, played with an ensemble before,
Right.
um, like that, and so feeling all the different energies from each person in the group and how they came together, or
Mhm.
sometimes didn't come together, but most of the time it was very unified and
Yeah.
coordinated, and it created something special in the room.
They were pretty outstanding because there were 6 finalists in the juniors, and they had to adjust to each performance. Each performance was a different tempo, slightly different rubatos, different things, you know. And then Kenneth, can you remind me? I have in the back of my mind, did you study with the same teacher as Kevin
Yeah,
at the
uh,
time?
we're both from the San Francisco Bay Area
Because I think that's the first
originally.
time it's happened. And of course, I didn't know until, a few days after the competition, which is amazing. Were you both born in San Francisco? Or you both lived there, I mean?
Yeah, I was. And Kevin, were you Cupertino or somewhere a little south?
I grew up in Cupertino, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, great. And my daughter's living in San Francisco now, and she loves it, actually. She's working there, so it's kind of fun. So guys, what else should we talk about? Because we could listen to lots more. I'm not picking on the juniors, by the way, Kenneth. It's just because there's two of them there, you know. Tell me some more memories from the competition, if you can. Or let's work out what's happened since then. It would be an interesting question. Kenneth, you first.
Yeah, so in the years after the competition, it was great. I got to travel a lot and perform in different places in Europe and a little bit in South America, and that was one of the real highlights from doing that is the traveling afterwards and getting to see these places.
Right.
And these days I'm a little more settled down, was in the New York area, and have been starting to do more and more teaching, actually, myself.
Great.
Assisting through Juilliard and also some other places too. So that's been kind of a new chapter for me these days that I'm really enjoying. Yeah, that's kind of where I am.
Sounds
now.
good. And any great teachers you've been working with, or any sort of names we know?
I'm assisting Zach Perlman and also Leland, who is my
I think I've heard of it, Zach Perlman, somewhere. I can't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but and also Leland, who has been at Juilliard now. So it feels
Right.
very lucky to have worked with them and to learn. I mean, not only so much as a player, you know, how to play the instrument and about music and everything, but about teaching from them as well. So it's
Right.
continuing to learn a lot all the time.
I think you do all your life. Menuhin himself, one of the big things he loved was actually learning from you as competitors. He said he constantly was learning as he got older. It was interesting. And Subin, for you, after the competition, I mean, you were just 11 then, so it's a long time.
Well, after I did many competition, I'll say my life as a musician has changed completely because I got so many great opportunities. I met so many amazing musician friends, as I said, and yeah, I traveled a lot for concerts and just
Did you do other competitions?
not.
Got a few first prizes that I read somewhere.
I did. Yeah, I did Orchestra and Young Concert Artists, and yeah, not very many, but yeah, I did some competitions. But these days I am mostly at home in Boston with my violin, but I do feel actually a little busier with all the online concerts and some projects I've been working on. Yeah.
And you're studying with a very good friend of mine I used to play with a lot, Miriam Fried, isn't it?
Yes.
That's great. One funny story is, I don't know if you guys know that I don't vote at all in the competition. I'm chair of the pre-selection. I choose the 42 that come to the competition. And it was very, very close, the marks between the two of you and the juniors. You know, in some ways, maybe it should have been shared. I don't know. And I was so impressed with you, Subin, that I insisted you played in the gala, which I don't know if you remember. Your mom wasn't sure if you wanted to play, but I said, let's give her an opportunity to play in the gala concert. Usually it's just the top two prize winners, but we added, I added you as an extra because it was great, basically. I mean, you were all great. And Kev, tell me about you since Menuhin.
Well, similar stories to the other two, after the competition, having, going and traveling and playing in different places. I remember playing in London and also in Vienna with a wonderful jury member, Joji Hattori. And, since then, I suppose I've grown up.
But you've done other competitions, right?
I did the Paganini competition in 2018.
You got last prize, is that right?
Yes, I got last now. I was lucky and fortunate enough to be in a position where I could take first prize, and I've been touring and concertizing since. I'm actually in Genoa in Italy now. I'm playing Elgar Concerto tomorrow
you
night.
just across the road from me then.
Oh, yeah. But I mean, now especially with everything going on, it's been a little tough. But oh, another thing, I'm studying at Juilliard with Itzhak Perlman and Lee Lin.
That's
and
what I wanted to check. Where you were.
Kenneth here has been a fantastic assistant to those two. So,
really? Isn't that interesting?
Yeah. And it's been fascinating. You know, I met him back in 2012, and to, you know, reunite 6 or however many years later, and to have the chance to talk to him and play for him and hear his feedback.
That's fascinating, because I mean, I didn't.
I never would have thought this kind of thing would happen. But
yeah, I mean, one interesting thing is, how are you coping since March? Because we live in such a crazy world at the moment with this COVID, and of, you know, there's so few concert opportunities. Kenneth, have you found that tough?
I think it's really tough for everybody. There's so much uncertainty in the future, particularly here in the United States, where the number of cases is still so high compared to so many other places, and not a lot happening in terms of live performances that can be done safely.
Yeah.
But I think it's also given people time to think and to reflect and to figure things out, and maybe a little bit more time that they wouldn't have otherwise if they were playing all over the place. So it's tough, but I think there's also some benefits to having that time and that space as well.
And Subin, how have you found it? Because it's such a difficult time.
I really agree what Kenneth just said. It is really tough, but I feel like I never had this kind of time that I really got to spend a lot of time with my violin. And yeah, it is really tough, but on the other hand, I got to practice more, and you know, I can't wait to perform again for a live audience. Yeah.
And well, Kev, you said you are playing to a live audience in Genoa.
Yeah, well, tomorrow night, and today I had the first rehearsal, and it just sort of like hearing the first note of, you know, the orchestra, the string section just coming in. It's like it sort of sent a shock through my system, because I hadn't, you know, heard this for I don't know how many months.
Which concerto are you playing?
Elgar.
Elgar. Oh wow.
Very, very English.
Very English.
Too
That's
bad.
a big piece. I mean, it's
I would have played a concerto by a Welsh composer, but I don't know.
It's very few. It's very.
You can send your recommendations next time.
Right.
But yeah, but you know, as Kenneth and Subin have said, this situation is tough for all of us.
Yeah.
But
I went to the first live concert maybe just a few weeks ago, and I almost cried. It was so wonderful to hear live. You know, it's great doing it online and stuff like that, but for me, there's no substitute with the actual sound and communication between the performer and the audience.
Yeah, and one thing I always remind myself is that, you know, despite how tough it is for classical musicians at this moment, we're all also very, very lucky. And we're in a position where we get to experience art through its most visceral form, through, you know, playing it live with, you know, even if we don't have other people to do it with, we still have this medium with ourselves. And it's something that a lot of people don't have, and I think we should be all really grateful for what we do have.
Well, I'm afraid time is running out, so we've got to sort of finish there. It's been absolutely brilliant to talk to the three of you and see you again after such a long time. You've all turned out to be such wonderful young people. And I'm so thrilled to have sort of experienced you through the Menuhin. So we have to stop there. Thank you for joining us. Don't forget, at 5 p.m. tonight, we flash back to London 2016, where we'll hear the senior finals, and you'll hear the youngest ever first prize winner of the senior finals, who was just 16 years old. It's been a wonderful 2 days of festival for me, and I'd like to thank Jeffrey at the Violin Channel for putting this together. And it's been great, and especially now to meet the three of you again. It's been truly wonderful. Thank you so much. Bye.